Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to DJB the Arsenal Huddle. Scan the code there, and that will take you straight to my channel where you can subscribe. And yeah, guys, welcome this afternoon. Hope everyone is well and the sun is shining where you are. So let's get into it, guys. Let's have a little look what we are doing here. Gyökeres seems to be gathering pace. Seems to be getting ever closer and closer. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's a positive because where I think we've struggled over the years is obviously a striker, but we still, for me, need to address the left-hand side. That's an area where we've tried different things. Martinelli's been on the left, as we know. He's had probably one good season. Last season, he really wasn't at his best. Trossard has gone on the left and played on the left, but he's a sort of part-time player. He's not really been consistent enough on the left-hand side. And then we look at the left-back situation. Now we've let Tierney go. We've got Skelly playing there that's really learning his trade. He's a young player. He's going to learn his trade. It's going to take time. He's going to make mistakes. So the left-hand side is still, for me, one of the areas that is the main concern. We keep being linked with Rodrigo. We keep being linked with Rodrigo, etc. But I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I don't think this deal's going to happen. I think the money that we've spent so far in the transfer window is probably getting to near where we're going to be. I'm hoping it's not true. I'm hoping we can get Rodrigo in. But if we can get Eze and Gyökeres over the line, along with the Zubimendi, for me, it's not fantastic. It's not brilliant. It's not what I want. I would have wanted more. What fan doesn't? However, it's something that can't be sneezed at. And let's get on to Madueke, because I've kind of got my head around it. This is something that I'm kind of given into over the last couple of weeks, guys. For me, he's not a terrible, awful player. There are a lot worse than Madueke. Let's not get carried away. If Madueke would have been signing from Liverpool or if we'd have got Madueke from Barcelona or Liverpool or something like that, I think there would have been a whole new different conversation. That's not me saying that Madueke is the player I want. I don't want people to get carried away and think that, DJB's, he's Madueke, he's all gassed. I wouldn't say I'm gassed, but what I would say is now he's at the club, I'm leaning towards the football manager now. Because for me, if you was to stop the transfer window now, right at this point, and look at the situation, this football club, this football team is good enough. This football team is good enough to win a trophy, to certainly win a domestic double, to certainly get their hands on a Carabao Cup, stroke FA Cup, do well in the Champions League, and challenge for this Premiership. Okay, I'm not saying that with the players we've got now, we're going to be hot favourites for the Premiership. I still think that's in the hands of Liverpool and Manchester City. However, I do think we should be challenging. And why I've called it, Arteta from here is because, good afternoon, my friend. Good afternoon to chat, by the way. Make sure that you sub and you smashing the likes on the way in. That will help the community and it will help the channel. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Where are we going under Arteta? But for me, I think the team that we've got, with the players we've got, it should be good enough to get us to a cup final. Now, this is where I'm leaning towards the football manager. He's going into his 6th, 7th season. He's built a team of his squad. It's not as if he's strangers. These players are strangers to him. He knows these players. He's worked with them day in and day out for many, many years, for many, many seasons now. And with these extra signings, whether it be Madueke, Gorkarez, Eze, etc., now you've sprinkled those extra signings in with the already established squad. There's really no excuses why this manager can't win us a trophy. So I'm not kind of swinging it towards the signings we've made, the Norgards, the Maduekes, and going, oh, you know, what players have we signed here? They're still good enough on top of what we've already got for this manager to do something next season. And for me, if he doesn't, then serious questions have to be asked. Now, everyone knows where I stand. Everyone knows where I stand. If you know me, if you've been following me on streams and watching me on different channels, you know where I stand. So I'm not going to keep banging on about it. I'm not getting angry about it. I'm literally just saying where I stand with a football manager. And that is my opinion. Whether it's right or wrong, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, is entirely up to you. I've always said I think he's had his time at the club. I think he's had his years at the club. I think he's had plenty of money spent. I think he's been given all the tools to win a trophy, and he's not done that. I'm not saying he hasn't made us competitive. I'm not saying he hasn't got us to where we've got now. I'm just saying I think his time is done. Having said that, I think now is the time where we really need to shine, because we need a striker, and it looks like we're going to get the striker. Looks like Gorkarez is coming to town, guys. So that's an area where it's been addressed, pure and simple. That's an area where we've hopefully made inroads and got this player. So here we are. Arsenal expect to reach full agreement with Sporting inside the next 24 hours. So for me, there is absolutely no excuses whatsoever why this can't be announced by the end of the week. This should be fully announced by the end of the week, period. No problems at all. Okay, within the next 24 hours. Sources have told BBC Sport that the club-to-club deal for the Sweden forward is now in place with just minor details to resolve. Minor details to resolve, that would be things like win bonuses, appearance, for how many appearances he makes, them kind of things. You know, they're just everyday kind of minor things that players have to put in with their contracts, and agents fight it out over. But for me, for how much we've got this guy for, it's an absolute bargain. The standards have dropped over the years and forwards, but he's the best out there at the moment. Let's be real. He's the best out there at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt. So we have to accept it, and we have to embrace it, and we have to try and get this player to play the way the fans want him to play, and that is dynamic and scoring goals. The biggest problem is how is Arteta going to get him to play? How is he going to fit him into the system that he wants to play in? And this is the problem. This is where it breaks down. The problem is not the player. We all know the player can score goals. The problem is how is the manager going to fit him into the system and the way he wants to play? And he's said numerous of times that, you know, I've got this way of playing, you know, this, you know, it's the way I want to play this system. The players have got to play the way I want them to play. And that's all well and good, but it hasn't won us trophies. So when does the day come where he looks in the mirror and goes, perhaps it's me. Perhaps it is me. So this is what I'm trying to think of. We need Eze in the team. That will give us a little bit more creativity. Then you're thinking to yourself, well, where does Eze play? Does he play in the 10? Does he play on the left side? Does he play more central? If you play Eze on the left wing, he's done. Palace tried him on the left wing. He wasn't effective. He didn't really shine on the left wing. That's not his position. I've always said play him in the 10, and there's the option then that you can move Odegaard in the 8. So you've got Odegaard in the 8, creative, sort of Vitinha type role where he's roaming about. You've got Eze in the 10, you've got Saka on the right. You've then got Rice sitting deep. And then you're looking at a whole different Arsenal and Gyökeres down the middle. You're more direct, there's more attacking flow there. And you've got players in the final third that can absolutely do some damage. So for me, that's where I'm at, people, with that. But we'll see. As I said, it's down to the manager. I think it comes to the point whereby you kind of stop looking at the players. You stop analysing the signings we've made and picking holes in the Maduekes and the Norgards and everything else. And you then start looking at what the manager can do with a team. Because if I was to say to you people, right, the window is shut and the players that we've got is Zubimendi, Madueke, Gyökeres, Zubimendi, with Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber. I'm sorry, but that team should be good enough to win a cup. We should be having a day out at Wembley with that team. I don't care what anyone says. With that team, this manager should win something. Now, whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out, if you look at it literally from a football point of view and look at those players that we have, no more excuses for me. No more excuses for me, people. So that's where I'm at. But big up the chat. Make sure you're subbing and smashing the likes. Afternoon, DJ. Ecstatic with a Gyökeres signing, giving Arteta the pieces he needs. So I won't want to hear any more excuses. No, facts, my friend. This is what we're saying. There shouldn't be any more excuses now. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The other problem I've got is if this brother gets injured, if Gyökeres gets injured, suspended, we're then reverting back to Marino and Havertz as our only choice strikers, guys. Yeah. We're then reverting back to them situation. So that's a concern. But we haven't got really the money to go and buy 2 strikers. And this is why I revert back to last season. Going back to last season, I said that if we'd have signed a striker last season, and pure and simple, and then added Gyökeres this season, then you've got 2 strikers. Battling in it out on 2 fronts. You've got 2 strikers battling it out, rotating, and suddenly it looks a whole new, different look. But that's not where we're at. So we will see. We will see. The next thing I want to show you here is the defender that we're linked with, Wasquera. Again, is a good piece of business as far as I'm concerned. Let's see if we can find. Let's see. Bear with. I'll tell you what. Let's have a little look at this, right? Because this interested me. Because we get carried away with the Arsenal signings, right? But let's have a little look. Because these teams have been doing mad business, you know. These are the actual done deals, okay? So we all know Arsenal's done deals. Kepa, Chelsea, 5 million. Zubimendi, Real Sociedad, 60 million. Christian Norgard, Brentford, 10 million plus 5 million add-ons, okay? And then on top of that, you got Gyökeres around about 65 million, so on and so on. So our spending is going to go up to over 200 mil, guys, on top of what he's already spent. So the manager's had a lot of money. But then Aston Villa have bought in players. Yeah? Redmond on a free from Feyenoord. Bournemouth. Brentford. Not household names, but again, strengthening their team. Then you look at Brighton, who, by the way, Brighton have already got a good team. Brighton are going to be quite strong next season. Arsenal never do well against Brighton anyway. But we're not the only people that strengthen. Then you go down, look at Burnley. Look at the signings Burnley's done on a done deal. So Burnley, for a team that's come into the Premiership, again, they're going to want to stay in there. So what I'm trying to say is when we go into places like Burnley, they're not going to be easy games, guys. So let's not get carried away with all of this about, oh, you know, we're Arsenal and we've got this and we've got that. Yeah. These teams are moving. These teams are doing things. These teams are strengthening. So it ain't going to be an easy Premiership campaign next season. Chelsea, we already know about. I think Chelsea, seriously, are going to be, along with Newcastle, I think Chelsea are going to be the dark horses for the Premiership title. I think they're going to push. I've been really impressed with them. I know it's only the Club World Cup and people are saying to me, oh, you know, were teams really interested, blah, blah, blah. I always say that if you're in a tournament, you're going to want to win it. Pure and simple. You're going to want to win it. Big up the chat. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Always a pleasure to have you in, guys. Make sure you smash the likes and sub. Yeah, no, big up, my friend. There's a lot of unknowns for next season, DJB, because we need the likes of them. We need the ground running. This is what I'm saying, brother. We need these players to come in. We haven't got the luxury of players bedding in and giving them time. We haven't got credit in the bank where we've won trophies, where we can give these new players time to bed in. These players have got to come in and quickly establish themselves at this football club as if they've been there for 2-3 seasons. You know, we haven't got that. We haven't got that luxury. We just haven't got it. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So Chelsea are going to be strong. We know that. Crystal Palace. Yeah. Everton. Moving into a new stadium, guys, remember. They're going to be in a new stadium. They're going to have much more fan base behind them. Yeah, their capacity's gone up tenfold. That's going to be quite an intimidating place to go. That's not going to be easy. So if you think that the Premiership is going to be a foregone conclusion and a walk in the park, this is what I'm trying to say. See, when I do my channel and I do my shows, I like to take my Arsenal cap off sometimes. You know, we can all get engrossed in Arsenal, and have this one-way sort of tunnel vision on Arsenal Football Club and our signings and what we're doing, and rightly so. It's an Arsenal channel. It's what we do. However, sometimes you have to take the back seat and you have to look from the outside in, and you have to look at it from a football point of view rather than an Arsenal point of view. And you have to look at it as a Premiership as a whole and look at the teams. And I've said it all along. Leeds United are going to be tough. Leeds United have strengthened. Okay? They've strengthened on top of what they've already got. And then not many players are being released from these clubs. And Leeds have got some good players. You know, they've done really well in the Championship last season. Massive, massive fan base. Intimidating place, Ellen Road. You know, a hard place to go. People like Zubamendi have not really experienced going to Ellen Road or going to Burnley on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night or whatever under the floodlights. Sunderland, freezing cold, you know, middle of the week. No one's experienced all this. So this is what I'm saying. They're tough places. Liverpool we know about. Florian Wirtz, Frimpong. Kirkes, who I really rate, by the way. I think he's an outstanding fullback. I'm surprised we didn't go for him, to be honest, but hey-ho, it is what it is. So, you know, all these, I mean, Liverpool are going to be strong. Liverpool are going to be strong. Man City been doing madness. Manchester City, absolute madness. They're going to be strong. Pep's also changing the way he plays as well. He's changing his style of play. So they're going to be good. Now, Newcastle, they're also linked with Arteta, if I said it right. Yeah, you know the man. They're also linked with another forward. If they get him in and they keep their players with their midfield of Tonali, Bruno, Joel Linton and people like this, they're going to be a strong outfit next season. They're going to be up there or thereabouts. Trust me, they're going to be strong. Arteta, is it? Yeah, Arteta, guys, they're linked with. Along with Isak. They got the option of going like 4-4-2. He likes to play 4-4-2 sometimes, you know. He's old school system sometimes, and it just throws teams. It just blows teams out of the water. They can't handle it. Sunderland. What did I tell you? Sunderland. All these teams that are coming into the Premierships have strengthened. They're not the Ipswiches and the Southamptons trying to wing it. They mean business. They want to stay in the Premiership. These are big football clubs. You know, these are not small clubs. These are big clubs. I've been to the old Roker. I've been to the old Sunderland Roker Park. I've been to the old Sunderland ground many times back in the day. Massive fan base, huge fan base. And if you think Arsenal and Tottenham are a derby, if you think Man United and Liverpool are a derby, watch next season. Watch next season, people, when Sunderland and Newcastle meet in the Premiership. That is a derby. Trust me. That's Celtic and Rangers settings. That is huge. Spurs, Gibbs White. They want Gibbs White. I don't know about Spurs, you know, next season. I think they'll be better because I rate Thomas Frank. Kudus is a great signing for them. If they can get Gibbs White in, top 8, 7, 7th in the top 7, I would have thought. I would say so. Wolves are going to be a little bit hit and miss. I've tipped Wolves to kind of be down there because they've lost that Cunha, and I think Cunha is going to be a huge loss for them. So I think they'll be hovering around the bottom there. If West Ham have got to get their finger out, I fear for West Ham. I hate to say it because I've got a lot of respect for West Ham. You know, I've been predominantly brought up in a West Ham area. I've got a lot of friends that are West Ham fans. Great fan base, but I do fear for West Ham. So what I'm trying to say, our man Arteta, he needs to get his finger out. He needs to get his finger out. If he gets the players in, and business gets done, then he needs to get his finger out, people. Pure and simple. We need to hit the ground running, and we need to be positive, and we need to start making things happen because there's no more excuses. There is no way I'm sitting over that Emirates Stadium frustrated and coming out of there really flat. I need to be coming out of there bouncing every home game. We need to make it a fortress because teams have been going to the Emirates recently with no fear and coming out with points. All three. West Ham. 2 seasons running, West Ham have gone there and done a job on us. That cannot happen next season. Cannot. Our man needs to lay off Havertz, and we have a shot at the title. Big up Johnny D. Big up my friend. Thank you. Havertz, I think he's going to have a role in this team. I don't know where he's going to put him, but I do think he's going to play him. I really do. Can he play him in the 10? I don't think he's mobile enough for a 10. It's a headache, but he's got to deal with it. Me, he shouldn't be starting. Havertz is your typical bench player for me. And again, there's worse players that can sit on the bench. I'm not a big Havertz fan, but there's worse players that you can have sitting on the bench. Trust me. Bouncing 100% DJB. I want to see you bouncing. Yeah, I want to bounce. Everyone wants to bounce. Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy next season. It's got to be done. Got to be done. And I think Man United away is the perfect game for Arsenal to start the season because it sets the benchmark. People are saying, oh, I wish we were playing like Brentford or Wolves or something like that. No, you want a massive game. First game of the season, you want to make a statement. You don't want to be going to one of these grounds. Like I remember when we played Brentford that Friday night, I think we lost 2-1. Awful start to the season, and that kind of set the precedence for the rest of the season. So for me, if we can go to Old Trafford, start the season on the front foot, win convincingly, Gorkarez bagging a goal, doing the business, Subamendi having a brilliant debut, then that sets the tone for the rest of the season. But who knows? Again, I'll come back to it. It's now over to you, Mikel. You're the manager. The buck stops at the manager. Whether we like it or not, we can blame players. We can say, oh, Madueke's this, Norgard's this one's this. We can say all of that stuff. All of this madness we can say. But the buck stops at the football manager. He picks the team. He sets the tactics. He motivates the players. He's in charge of the coaches. He sets the agenda for the training. Buck stops at the manager. That's why he's getting paid £15 million a year. Guys, make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you're subbing. If we don't win a trophy next season, then this manager has to go. I think he does. And any football person, anyone that follows football, whether you're a Newcastle fan, Burnley fan, Sunderland fan, Leeds fan, West Ham fan, whatever, if you've had a manager at your football club for 6-7 seasons and spent a near on £1 billion and you have not won a trophy, and the only thing that you've got to praise this manager for your manager is a win, a semi-final, finishing runners up, then there has to be a point where you just turn around and go, do you know what? I think it's time for a change. I think it's time to go. It's like that car in it that you've had from new, or the car that's been handed down from the family, and you want to try and keep it because it's sentimental and you don't want to get rid of it, and you have it serviced and you keep it going and you keep it going, but eventually it's slowing up. There's smoke pouring out the back. It's costing you XYZ to keep on the road, and you just think, it's time. I've got to hand it in. It's got to go. I've got to buy a new one. That's like the football manager. No matter how much you want to be sentimental, no matter how much, whether you're Arteta in or Arteta, no matter how much, there comes a time when you just think, yo, I've got to call it a day here. I've got to call it a day, I have to call it a day. Fabrizio tweet on Isaac. All right, okay. I mean, I think Liverpool will go after him. I think they'll make a last ditch for him, but I can't see it. Big up Shane, brother. Make sure you're following Shane. Shane Gooner, make sure that you are subbing to Shane. He's doing madness on his breakfast show. Very consistent with that. And he's roasting and everything else. And I'm doing a little bit with Shane later on, actually. In a couple of hours' time, we're going to do our retro show, which is quite good. We're going through all the old retro kits. It's a nice break from all this signings and everything else. We look at the old kits from gone yesterday. So yeah, come over and join us. To be true, Pep Acolyte, the manager, must first lose all this hair and go bald, then the process will yield any success. Yeah, I know. Listen, I don't know what he's trying to do. I don't know why he changed his style of play, I don't know why he went so negative. I mean, the football was just dross, man. Big up, Martin. Big up. Hope you're well. No, I'm with you. We win a trophy, or I'm joining it in the search of a new manager. But if he wins, credit must be given where credit is due. Yeah, to an extent, credit where credit's due. You know, if he's winning premierships and getting to finals of the Champions League, or he's doing a cup double, winning a Premiership, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, well, then you have to give you credit. Of course you do. You say, right, okay, well, it's taken a lot. It's taken a bit of time, but he's eventually got there. However, what happens next? Do you then keep him for another 3-4 years, and we go another 3-4 years without winning anything? Clubs have done it before, where managers have won things and then gotten someone else in. You know, when your time's up, your time's up. Simple as that. But we'll see. As an Arsenal fan, loved the Palace kits when Allison and Venables were managers. Oh man, there's some ballers. I'll tell you what, I'll get Shane to go through some Crystal Palace kits today. We're doing some like West Brom stuff, and we're going through some of the old West Brom kits, I think, in commentary. So that'd be worth a look. We need to be more brave and go back to playing like we were. Yeah, 100%. He has to be brave. He has to be brave. He's got to take the shackles off. He's got to let players play, express themselves. You can tell by their body language last season, they were kind of just going through the motions. There were some games where they were just ticking over. You know, they were plodding. They were bored. They looked fed up. They looked isolated. They didn't look free. You know, and as much as Odegaard has taken a lot of stick, and rightly so, because he didn't have a very good season. However, you as a manager, it's your job to get the best out of him, get the best out of players. That's your job. And if you see a player going stale, you can do one or two things. You can either bench him or you move him into a different position. They're the only two things you do. If you're having a nightmare and your head's not around playing football, you do two things. You bench him and you bring someone else into your position to give them a kick up the backside, or you move them. You say, okay, then I'm taking you out the 10. I'm going to put you more central. I'm going to put you in the 8. Yeah. Or go play in the centre, have a little free run, have a run around, make things happen, create stuff, do your thing. Take a few shots at goals. If it goes wide, it goes wide. Get on the ball more. That's what you have to do as a manager. You have to motivate players. And this is where I think he kind of lacks. He lacks that little bit of motivation with players. Big up Shane Gooner, legend. Yeah, we know he's a legend, my friend. Johnny D. No, we need to win early now. I will dominate if we win the title. Not winning is our biggest hurdle. Once we surpass it, we must win trophies next. We have to win a trophy next season. We haven't got time not to. There is no way we can hang around next season, guys. We can't. We're not in a position where we can draw at Man United, struggle at home against Leeds, then drop points, then lose at Liverpool, lose at Newcastle, draw at home against Man City. Straight away, we're on the back foot. Suddenly, August becomes September. Then you're looking at autumn, going into the Christmas period. Is that, you know what I mean? DJB, you have amazing voice and speech delivery quality. It's always great to listen to you. Oh, big up, my friend. You make those debates lively. Oh, cheers, Amit. Big up, my friend. I do get the Mickey taken out of me with my voice, actually. I can't change my accent. Listen. It's an Essex East End accent, my friends. Some people take the mick and say, I want to be a Stuart Pearce. I'm not a Stuart Pearce, even though I've played football at a pretty good level. It's just my accent, guys. I can't change it, I'm afraid. Sorry, my friends. Sorry. But yeah, big up. No, and as I said, guys, you know, Man United, for me, first game of the season, bring it on. Absolutely bring it on, because it sets the levels, it sets the benchmark. It's going to be a tough game, always is. Man United at Old Trafford is always a tough game, no matter where they are in the league, no matter what team they've got, no matter what players they've got. You go to Old Trafford, you know you're in for a football match. You have to win at a football match. Just the whole persona, and the kind of going to Old Trafford, Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in world football. Just that image puts pressure on. You know the magnitude of the football match. You just know it. But they won't be like impossible. No, I mean, no, if those 6 results, what you say, DJ, but he needs to leave in 2 months. Do you know what? I said Christmas, guys. I said Christmas. If things are not going right by Christmas, then I think the owners will be seriously looking at the manager. People say to me, oh, you know, oh, the Cronkies will have him here no matter what. I think that was true early on. I think when the Cronkies let Arteta have the reins, I think they thought, right, get us established, get us competing, get us in the Champions League, get us consistently doing the things we need to be doing. Now the money's been spent and now he's built up the team. I think the expectations are going to be different. That's why they, you know, that's why they employed Berta. That's why they got him in, because things need to start moving. Things need to start moving, and I think the Cronkies know this. I think the Cronkies know this. Big up, Static. Big up, my friend. Glad you're in. Make sure you smash the likes. Make sure you're subbing, guys, if you haven't done already. That will help massively. Love the action. My mum's side of the family are from Islington and Dagenham. Oh, wicked. Yeah, that's all. That's it. That's it. Islington. Yeah, they're all from Islington, my family. As I said, my dad was a programme seller at Arsenal. I had uncles that had trials at Arsenal, played for the youth team back in the 60s and the 50s. I had another uncle that was a groundsman at Highbury, used to mow the grass and do the lines at Highbury. I had uncles that worked on the turnstiles at the North Bank. Yeah, so it's cousins, uncles, aunts. They was all brought up Drayton Park, Avenel Road, all round there. So all my family are all Arsenal. It's in my blood, my friends. It's in my blood. But I did move to Essex when I was only a young boy. And I've been brought up in Essex and surrounded by West Ham and Claret and Blue. It's the way it is. It's the way it is. Do you think enough of the fan base will turn against him? I think your real fans will. I think your real fans will. Your plastic fans won't. Your fans that have only seen the best of Arsenal, that have probably been supporting Arsenal in recent years, won't, because it's the best they've seen. They've not seen the dudes that are behind me. They've not seen the Arsenal in the 70s or the 80s and the George Graham eras. So this is the best they've ever known. So for them, the modern day manager, Arteta, what he looks like, what he stands for, what he says, the PR, everything else, they won't. But your true Arsenal fan, the Arsenal fan that follows Arsenal, you know, like you guys, and your Arsenal fans that have got some sort of logic behind things and the thinking behind the football and everything else, I think it will slowly turn. I think it will slowly turn. Where I sit at the Emirates, there's going to be a lot of fans that will be turning. That will be turning. I mean, there's fans that sit around me and say, well, okay, give him one more season. He got to the Champions League semi-final. He got to this. He got to that. But I think even those fans will then start to think, nah, time's running out. Time's running out. The clock is ticking. Clock is ticking. Liverpool bidding for 120 million. Yeah, I know. I see it. They're going to go in for him again because they need a striker, Liverpool. You know, they've got Verts and all of that, but on the forward line, on the striking, they need a striker. They need a striker. I'm surprised they've not gone in for Sesko, you know. So they'll try and get Isak. They'll try and get Isak. Will Isak leave Newcastle? The problem is it's Liverpool Football Club, isn't it? If you're a professional footballer, right? If you're a professional and you got a team like Liverpool come calling with all their history and what they stand for, the city, the people, the fans, it's very hard to turn it down. Very hard to turn it down. I mean, if I was a professional and I was at Newcastle, but then having said that, the Newcastle fans and the city in Newcastle, I would say out of the two cities, Liverpool and Newcastle probably, along with Leeds, are the three major cities of fan base, fanatical fans. They are proper fans, and they are united. You'll never see them fans fall out with one another. They'll have debates and stuff like that, but they're all united. You know, they're not like our fan base where they're kind of constantly going at one another. They are completely united in what they believe in, and that's the difference. That's the difference. So, will Isak leave Newcastle to go to Liverpool? I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one. I'm on the fence with that one. I'd like to see him stay at Newcastle, to be honest. I don't want Liverpool to have Isak. Can you imagine if Liverpool get Isak? It's game over. It's game over. Whether we get Gyökeres or not, it's game over if they get Isak. Yeah, I'm 40 DJ under 30. Arsenal fans don't know Dennis Bergkamp was actually technically better than Emery. Dennis Bergkamp was the best Arsenal football player I've ever seen. Technically better than Omri. I know it's a difficult one, and it's like Ronaldo and Messi, who's the best. But for me, Bergkamp pips it. It shows Sesko isn't good enough. But yeah. I don't know. Sesko might be. I mean, you might be looking at Sesko in 3-4 years' time, thinking, "Wow, wish we had signed him." We could be kicking dirt in our own face in 3 years' time. Sesko could be the next best thing since sliced bread. He could surpass Gyökeres in 2 or 3 seasons. He could be the next Haaland. We just don't know. What I do know is right now. And right now, Gyökeres, on paper, is better than Sesko because he scores more goals. And when you're a team that haven't won anything, you haven't got time to have projects and wannabes. You need the best what's out there at the moment. So us doing 60 odd million on Gyökeres, for me, it's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. I'm in Nottingham now, but I'm always a gooner and always love catching up with the family down south when I can. First game I saw at Highbury was against Everton in November 1981. Remember it well, my friend. Everton were a good team then. Good team. Yeah. Yeah, mine was 74, Man City, 4-0 at home, Highbury. Long time ago, my friends, long time ago. Many, many games, spent thousands and thousands of pounds. That's why I feel that I can criticise the manager. I'm in that position. I've earned the right. I've earned the right to have my say on this football club. I've spent enough time, man hours, money. I've spent enough time to have my say on this football club. That's why I take it personally when fans say to me, this, and this, which is fine. It's their opinion. But when you've done the hard miles and when you've done the graft supporting this football club, I like to think I've earned the stripes. You know what I'm saying? My father saw Liverpool be successful in the late 70s and 80s. What a team, man. That Liverpool team in that time was just... That's why George Graham, what he done in 89 was just incredible. Best football manager Arsenal's ever had, George Graham. How he hasn't got a statue outside that stadium is beyond me. Beyond. Big up, Jim Bob. Good name, my friend. DJB, do you think Gyökeres will win a cup for Arsenal? Because personally, I don't think he doesn't. Do we look at Gyökeres winning the cup or do we look at Arteta winning the cup? This is what you've got to ask yourself. We know what Gyökeres can do. He scores goals. Can Arteta coach him to score goals? This is the thing. This is why we're missing the point, people. We're looking at the players. It's easy to look at the players, but the manager sets the tone. The manager sets the tactics. The manager sets how they play, not the players. It ain't going to be Gorkarez winning the cup. Gorkarez is giving him the tools and giving us the chance, but ultimately it's down to the football manager. So if Arteta can change the way he plays, if Arteta can incorporate Gorkarez and make him effective, then we've got a chance of winning a cup, my friend. 100%. We've got a better chance with Gorkarez than without him, put it that way. Same DJB, that's why I can't stand and talk of not being a true fan. If you dare to criticise Arteta, it's ridiculous. Yeah. See, to me, there's criticism and there's angry criticism, isn't there? You know what I mean? There's no point getting angry, is there? What's the point of getting angry? I'm angry. I'll get angry. I'll get frustrated. But like, at the end of the day, just get the manager gone. If he's not doing the job, get him out. What's the problem? There's life after Arteta. Arteta's not the be-all and end-all of Arsenal Football Club. No one is bigger than Arsenal Football Club. Nobody. These two guys here in the background weren't bigger than Arsenal Football Club. And they knew that. But this manager seems to be bigger than the football club. And that's the worrying thing that I can't get my head around, that this manager is bigger than the football club. And that should not be the case. And he's convinced everyone that when he talks about we were the best team in Europe. Well, we wasn't. PSG were. Chelsea are now the best team in the world. Club football. Because the trophy says that. That's what it says. Everyone's got their own opinion. People can say, yeah, but Liverpool are. They won the Premiership. Well, the trophy says world champions. So what I'm trying to say is that when you talk about Arteta, you do have to look at it from all angles. You do have to look at it from all angles. This guy has had the power to win something. He's had it. Whether you like it or not, he's had plenty of opportunities. And he's not done it. So how many more opportunities do you give someone? You know? You know, if you owned a shop and you employed someone and they kept nicking stuff out your shop, and you say, right, if you do that again, you're sacked. And then he does it again, and then more stuff goes missing. And you give him another chance and more stuff goes missing. Then your profits have gone down. Then you're going bankrupt. People are going to turn around and say to you, well, why didn't you get rid of him? He's been nicking stuff out of your business. You know? Well, I trusted him. How many times can you keep trusting this manager? Old times, it was a rivalry which is turned into toxicity these days, I think. Social media, mate. Social media, Emmett. It's a killer. That's why I'm not on it. I hope you do get a manager out, because I don't think Arsenal will be scary. No, we used to be scary. We're not scary anymore, my friend. When these guys hung up, when these guys were in the tunnel with Patrick Vieira, Petit, Perez, Tony Adams, game was won before they even got on the pitch. Game was won then. Not this manager. The owners trusting him bigger than Arsenal Football Club, but this should be the last straw on that trust. Deliver or trust bust. I said time again, it will be so now. Yeah, we have to. And the owners have to do. See, I make my biggest problem with the owners, right, guys, is the fact that they've given him another season. I honestly, if you was to do a poll of how many Arsenal fans, and I'm talking Arsenal fans, right? I'm not talking about your clickbait fans and all your hangers-oners and your all of that malarkey. I'm talking about proper Arsenal fans like us in the chat and everything else, right? And said at the beginning of last season, if Arteta don't win anything this season, do you think he should go? I reckon that 80% of the fan base would have said, yeah, I think that this season, that's the season just gone. If he doesn't win anything, so this time last summer, if you'd have asked that question, if he doesn't win anything, then he's got to go. And we need a new manager going into 25-26. And here we are at 25-26 and he's still here. The semi-final of the Champions League got him out of jail. I honestly think that if he didn't make that semi-final of the Champions League, if we'd have crashed out the Champions League, then I think his time might have been up. That's only my opinion. Personally, that's my opinion. Rich99 Arsenal, big up, my friend. Make sure that you go and sub to Rich99 Arsenal. He's doing some things. Big up, Rich. Real one. Big up, Rich. Rich, I'm going to try and get your details, my friend. You can pop on. You can pop along. We'll have a little chat. You can pop on my show if you're up for it, my friend. So big up, my friend. Yeah, real one, real one. So yeah, I think that Champions League literally got him out of jail. Yeah, but let's have a look at the defender that we're kind of looks imminent as well. Let's have a little look here. Bear with. There he is. This brother here. Now, listen, I'm going to hold my hands up here. I'm not educated on this guy. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know much about him. All I know, he's versatile. He can play many positions across the defence. He's quick. He's tall. And that's about all I know, guys. But Valencia centre-back Christian Mosquera has agreed personal terms with Arsenal with a move to the Premier League club getting closer. BBC previously reported that Arsenal were in talks with a 21-year-old, and now another element to the deal has been completed. Yeah. The Gunners have been looking to add young defender to their squad to compete with William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. To compete. I'm not sure he's going to compete with them. I think he'll be adequate backup. I'm not sure whether he's going to compete with them, though. But we'll see. We'll see, because we don't know how Gabriel's going to be after his injury. People forget the injury he's had. He's had a grade 3 hamstring. And for a centre-half, that's pretty serious. So we don't know how he's going to bounce back. But this, for me, is an okay signing. It's not pulling up any trees, but at the end of the day, if he develops, and again, go back to the manager, if the manager develops him, if he gets game time and he shines, he's still young enough in 2-3 years' time or at the end of his contract. Defenders last longer than forwards. You know, defenders, if they keep fit, they can go on a lot longer. Yeah, at the end of his contract, we could sell him, make a profit. Who knows? But that's certainly one to keep your eye on, guys. It looks like that's going to be done as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. At the end of the day, we can analyse these signings all day long, but until they step on the field of play, until we actually see them play with our own eyes, then we can't make up. Definitely will do, my friend. Big up, my friend. Yeah, big up, Rich. Until we actually see them, guys, we can only make up our mind when we actually see them play. It's like Zubamendi. I'm open-minded about it. I don't get involved about, oh, he can do this and he can do this. Oh, he can't do that. He's useless. He's this, he's that, he's this. I'm going to go to the Emirates. I'll go to a few away games. And when I watch him, I'll make my own mind up. I'm big enough and ugly enough to do that. If I find that Zubamendi's a good asset, I'll be honest with you. I'll come on the show and I'll say, look, I went and see him live against Burnley away, for example. And he done all right. He done some good things. Or I could watch him over 10, 12 games, do a stream and say, he's not an Arsenal player. And that's when the criticism comes in. Oh, what are you talking about? He's not an Arsenal player, blah, blah, blah. Because I've seen him. I've watched him. I've watched him without the ball. I've watched him with the ball. So I'm not going to judge people until I actually see him. It's like the Madueke. Madueke could come to Arsenal and be an absolute baller. He could. Real talk. He could come to Arsenal. I'll be surprised if he does, but he could come to Arsenal and he could absolutely set the place on fire. And we're all going, wow, what a signing. Madueke doing mad things. Banging in goals, taking on players, creating stuff. Gorkarez, linking up with Gorkarez, making things happen. That's what we all hope. So until he actually does that, I don't know. You just got to be a little bit open-minded about these things, ain't you? What you can't do is you can't see the problem is, and I'll state it again. He's not my signing. He wouldn't be the name that I would have gone, go get Madueke. He's the man we need. He's the person we need at this football club. No. Norgard. No. However, now Madueke is at the football club. Arteta, what can you do with him? There's the tools. Go make me something. Go build me something. If you can't do it, go find another club. Give me a manager that can. Because I'm telling you now, whether you like it or not, Madueke, Gorkarez, Rice, Zubamendi, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Skelly, Saka, Havertz, Wanyeri, Martinelli, Trossard, that team under any other manager, Klopp, Pep, Prime Marino, Wenger, Ferguson, would win a trophy. Fact, they would win a trophy with that team. They would have won a trophy with the team we've just had last season. So this manager in 7 years with that team, with the signings, should be winning a trophy. He's not learning anymore. He's an established manager. That's what he says. No one could have done what I've done with all the injuries we've had. Okay, well, if you've put yourself on that pedestal, you go and show us what you can do. Yeah? Don't talk about it. Go and do it. If you can't, move on. You're not bigger than Arsenal Football Club. No way. The fans are Arsenal Football Club. No one's bigger than the fans at this football club. Do you think these players has lost the motivation for this manager? That will be very, very quickly. I think the players are behind him at the moment. However, I always say Christmas. I always say that Christmas is a huge moment in the football calendar. I say January, going into January, you get a feeling of where the players are, where the players' heads are, where we are as a football club, how it's panning out as a football team, tactics, where we are, etc., etc. I always say January is key. That's when you get to know whether players are really playing for the manager. And you've got to remember there's a World Cup year coming up. So if we've got no chance of winning the Premiership and we've got no chance of, and we're struggling in the Champions League, players like Odegaard for Norway, which is a once in a lifetime achievement, their head's going to be turned. They're going to think, yo, I'm not putting in 100% here. I want to play in the World Cup. Arrogance for me is frustration. He was upset when he's praised his team's performance one step over the actual wall. Yeah, exactly. He's arrogant. I always say you don't make you don't gain success by making excuses. If we don't get Gorkarez, this man responsible for this could be our co-chair Tim Lewis, who kicks the deals off. Yeah, I think Gorkarez will get over the line, my friend. I think that is done. I think there's just a few little. I'd be very surprised if it falls through. I really would, Rich. Honestly, I'll be very surprised. But again, if it does, what's the manager going to do? He's going to cry about it, or is he going to pull his finger out? We don't have enough, even if we get Gorkarez and Eze over the line. If you ask me, no. And I'll tell you why we don't have enough, guys. Let me tell you why we don't have enough. Is because we've been it's been neglected for too many years, and the foundations have not been built under this manager. I said that if we'd have done the right thing over the last 2 seasons in the transfer windows, then we'd have only needed 1 or 2 players. If we'd have had Ivan Toney at the club from last season, or another striker, Gorkarez coming in would have been an added bonus. A bit like Newcastle. Etitike alongside Isak. Isak's already there, bring Etitike in. Adds a little bit more, doesn't it? Yeah, puts a bit of seasoning on the old situation. But because we haven't done what is required over the last couple of seasons, the hole has just got bigger. So we have to fill it. So that's why you need Eze. That's why you need Gorkarez. That's why you need Rodrigo. That's why you need Zubamendi. That's why you need this one. That's why you need that one. So suddenly, where you only might have needed 1 or 2 players, you now need 7 or 8. And that should never have been the case under this football manager. We should have only been signing 1 or 2 players and added to an already established squad. Not backups and main people and left wingers and strikers and backup midfielders and right wingers and this one and that one. Should never be in this situation, guys. He's had £750 million. And we're still short. We still haven't got a left winger. Our left back is learning on the job. A young man who is a midfield player, been put in as a left back. A centre halves that have been signed and been moved to fullbacks. Ben White was signed as a centre half, is now a right back. Calafiori signed as a centre half, is a left back. Sinchenko, inverted left back, who we can't sell, by the way. You know? Well, we'll be able to make a cup final, I guess. Hope so. Down to your manager, mate. Down to the Imagine boy, Tendio. It's down to the manager. This is what I'm saying. You can have Messi, Ronaldo, and Neymar's all in the same team. But if you've got the coach and the manager that's tactically getting it wrong, doesn't matter, does it? You know, you can't turn a Focus into an Aston Martin, no matter how much you try. Come on, you Gunners. Absolutely, Lynch. Come on, you Lynch. The Lynch man. Big up, Lynch. Subscriber and a member of the channel. Big up, my friend. Yeah, make sure you sub in and smash the likes. That will help enormously, friends. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for joining me this afternoon. Much appreciated. As always. Rich99, even Gorkarez and Eze, or even Rodrigo as well. 3rd is the highest we finish. The manager next season's cups as well being thrown in the bin again. Do you know what? I can see it being a frustrating FA Cup and Carabao Cup campaign, guys. I think he's going to really, really go for the Premiership, and I think that's where he's going to come unstuck. I really do. I hate to say it. Oh, dear. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Let's try and be positive. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to balance it up. I'm just trying to look at the things in a positive light, but realistically. Just be realistic. That's what you got to be. You've got to be realistic and face the facts. DJB, what's your prediction for the first 5 Premier League games? Man United draw. Leeds a Messi home win. I'll get them up. 1 second. Let's have a look and we'll go through them. We'll go through them. We'll go through them. Let's have a look here. Bear with. Let me see where I've put the fixtures, my guys. We'll have a little look. Here we go. Here we go. Right. Man United at home. Man United away. Again, I'd like to think if we make the signings, we can get 3 points. But we never. First game of the season, Arsenal Football Club, and I'm going back years. We never seem to hit. We never seem to play well that first game of the season. We just seem to be. Yeah, you see Liverpool approaching. They've got to. Liverpool have got to sign a forward. DJB at the moment. Did you think Arteta wasn't the man? DJB, at what moment did you think Arteta wasn't the man? That's a good question. I had my doubts at the very beginning because he hadn't managed elsewhere. So he didn't have any managerial experience. And I always thought that a person that coming into a club the size of Arsenal for your first managerial job was a big arse. However, I was willing to give him a chance. When he won the FA Cup and he showed the passion and everything else, I thought, yeah, okay, we might have something here. But then when we finished kind of 8th that season, and then we went 5th, and then we went 8th, and then we bottled an 8-point lead and stuff like that. That's when the cracks started to open for me, my friend. And then I've just been watching him from then on, and he hasn't changed much, has he? He hasn't really changed much, and he just doesn't take any accountability. He just doesn't take any accountability. When do you ever see him come out and go, do you know what, I got it wrong? Like Pep did. Pep admitted that last summer he tried to get by on the squad he had, and then he admitted that he made a mistake. I can't ever see an Arteta ever doing that. Tough first 6, massive lynch. So we go through it. So I reckon Man United a draw. I think Leeds at home we'll get the win. It won't be pretty. We'll get the win. Liverpool away. I think Liverpool will beat us 2-1. I think we'll beat Forest at home. I think City at home will be a draw. And I think we'll lose against Newcastle away. So going into October, straight away, we're on the back foot. Straight away. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't want us to lose. Of course I don't. Of course I don't. But you got to remember, and as I said to you, and as I said before, Zubimendi has got to hit the ground running. And I don't know any player that's come to the Premiership and hit the ground running straight away. Not even Omri did. It's gonna take at least 10, 12 games to actually get in the rhythm of playing in the Premiership. Getting the way the manager wants you to play. Even Rice, when he stepped up to Arsenal, it's taken him time. I knew Arteta wasn't the guy when he ran the project. Willie, yeah, he's made some bad signings though, hasn't he? He has. This is what I'm saying. He's made some bad signings, but Edu was to blame as well. Wasn't just Arteta. Edu was to blame as well for that. The money that's been wasted at this football club is a joke. Is an absolute joke. It's a sackable offence in itself. DJB, I'm with you. If you'd be Lee, a total negative by nature, you wouldn't have bought the season ticket. You have a small ember of hope, however small, it's there, but you won't admit it's easy. You won't admit it easily. Listen, there's always hope, and I do hope. Of course, I hope. Otherwise, I wouldn't go and watch them. I wouldn't be following them. I still wouldn't be buying a season ticket. So I am hopeful, but you've got to be realistic. What I'm trying to say is, right, is there's more evidence of failure than there is success. It depends how you categorize success. If you're a fan that believes finishing runners up and not making a final when you're in an absolute driving seat to make a final of a cup, and you foul, if you think that's success, then fine. But for me, when I've watched the likes of Alan Sunderland's, the Frank Stapletons, the Liam Brady's, Rocastle's, the Paul Mersons, and all of that over the years, the Tony Adamses and the clubs and the teams that have won things, I don't think that's success. I think that's nearly. It's a very, very good shout, Obeam. We've had a marvellous effort at it. Problem is, right, this country, we like to we like to, whether you like it or not, we like to celebrate failure. We do it in Olympics. Oh yeah, but he won a silver medal or he won a gold. Oh, well, at least he got a bronze. At least he got a bronze. Yeah, but it's not gold, is it? You know? Yeah, you've done well, but you haven't won gold. I remember Frank Bruno when he was fighting. People used to think he was brilliant. Oh, but Frank, oh, he gives it a go. Oh, Frank, doesn't he? Oh, Bruno. Oh, you got to love Bruno. Yeah, but he lost. We kind of, it's like schools, isn't it? You know, when you see the kids do, oh, at least he tried. At least he's tried and had a go. And this is what I mean. This country is built on failure. That's why we never win things. You know? It's just in us. This is what we do. I think you set, as a fan, you set the standards. Yeah? You set the standards as a fan. I think that if I'm going, the reason why you support a football team is for them, you want to see them win. And I get that, yeah, but it could be worse. You don't hear Brighton fans moaning, or you don't see Crystal Palace. Yeah, you do see them moaning. Of course you see them moaning. Of course you see them moaning. All fans have got different standards for their football team, and if they don't meet that standard, it's failure. Leeds fans, they've probably set the standard to stay in the Premiership next season. If they don't meet that standard, it's failure. Brighton want to get into Europe next season, finish in the top half of the table. If they don't meet that standard, it's failure. Aston Villa now have set the bar. They, big up Nick. I have Aston Villa, great club, great fans, by the way. They've set the agenda now. They believe that they are a Champions League team now. If they don't finish in the top four, or they don't have a good cup run, if you was to ask Nick, it'd be failure. So it's not just Arsenal that should have high expectations. Every team, when you support a football team, the first goal of supporting a team is you want success. No matter how small, you want success. And that is why Arsenal finishing runners-up and missing out on finals is failure. Because the standard's been set in years gone by. FA Cups, doubles, Premiership titles, league titles. The standards have been set. So anything below that is failure. Yeah, we've had a go. It's been a good season. It's got us competing. We've had some good times. But it's not success. You can't call it success, no matter how you look at it. You've got to get this out your heads about, but look where we've been. And we beat Real Madrid. Yeah, well, it's a one-off. It's a moment. It's a moment in time. My standard is, there you go. My standard is Champions League football. That's it. There you go, Nick. What did I say to you? That's what Nick expects. His supporters now expect Aston Villa to be in the top Champions League, top 5. If they fail, so Unai Emery, who's done brilliant things for Aston Villa, but Nick will tell you that if Unai Emery kept finishing 8th and 9th every single season and not winning a cup or not getting close to winning a cup, Nick would be saying we need a new manager. Simple as that. He'd be saying, no, Unai Emery needs to go. He's reached his ceiling. So why is it different for Arsenal? Why is it different that when we say Arteta's reached these levels, he can't take us any further, Brendan Rodgers settings, why is it different for us? Why should we be any different? Why can't we say that? I just don't get it. I don't get the power this guy's got. Someone has to explain it to me. 50 years of watching Arsenal Football Club. Someone has to explain to me why this football manager is any different to Aston Villa's football manager, to Liverpool's football manager, to Man United's football manager, Man City's football manager. Because I'm telling you now, if Man City don't win anything next season, their fans will be saying, Pep, thank you very much. You've brought the best years of our lives. Unfortunately, it's time to go move on. And that's Pep, you know. So why are we any different? Big up, it's me, Everest. Big up, my friend. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, guys. Real one. How you doing? Hope you went for that beer in London the other day, my friend. All right, you didn't get carried away. 8 points clear and not winning the league is failure. Of course it is. 100%. 100%. You just don't lose a league with 8 points clear. I'm sorry. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. Facts, real one. Views raid. Big up Views. Thank you for the raid, my friend. Big up Views. Make sure you're following Views. Arsenal Revolution. Big up. Big up the Arsenal Revolution as well. Make sure you're following the Arsenal Revolution. Smash the likes all day long. All day long. Smash the likes. Make sure you sub. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. When it's other teams talking about getting 15th of August DJB, I don't think. No, mate, you're right, man. As long as you go and enjoy yourself, my friend. 65 likes. Oh, come on, man. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. Come on. 65 likes. There's 85 in the building. Let's get. Should at least get 8. It should at least get over 70 likes. Come on. Come on, you can do it. There was 8 points clear. Blatantly lie. You always swallowed it up like. They were not 8 points clear. That's a blatant lie. They were pretty clear, my friend. They were pretty clear. No, actually, what I don't. City had a game in hand. Those are 5 points clear, not 8. Yeah, but up until City's game in hand, I mean, there was one point when we was way clear. I think it was about 10 points, and City did have games in hand. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the points and not the games in hand, we were clear, and we should never have been in that situation. Even if City had games in hand and won it, we should have still been clear. The fact of the matter is we bottled that. Listen, you can't not. The facts of the matter is we bottled that. We should have won that league. Should have won it. You know, what happened at West Ham? What happened at Liverpool? I mean, it was just crazy. That's the bottom line. You can't. This is what I mean. The problem is, right, if you're covering up and you're making excuses for that situation, this is why we can't move on. You can't move on if you're celebrating failure and making excuses. Yeah, you don't get success by celebrating excuses. You can't. But this is what I don't understand. It's all right for other teams to want their manager gone because they haven't done this, this, and this. But when it's Arsenal, it's like, oh, don't know what you're talking about. This is not the best we've ever had. Trust me. This is not the best Arsenal's ever been in. And the problem is we moved to the Emirates to win things. Otherwise, we might as well have stayed at Highbury. And now we're thinking about extending the ground, getting more fans in. Can you imagine it? Can't even get out the ground you're in. No depth, DJB, Saliba out, Party dropped in the level. That's not on Arteta as much as the players. That's my opinion. We have depth now. There are no excuses now. No depth, DJB, Saliba out, Party dropped in level. That's not Arteta as much as the players. That's my opinion. We have depth now. Yeah, I mean, we do have depth, but we still have a team good enough. We still have a team good enough. You got to remember, there is players. You know, there is players. Kivior is his signing. Marino, where's he going to play? His signing. Havertz, his signing. Jesus was out too. Even Jesus in wasn't good enough. Are you telling me Jesus, when he was fully fit, was good enough? Go look at his stats. Not good enough. And he told us when he signed Jesus, he said he's worked with him, he can get the best out of him, he's coached him, he's worked with him at Man City. Weren't good enough. Johnny D, that should have been a Prem. Should have been. You can't make excuses. We should have won that Premier League. Should have won it. Him dropping Trossard cost us that Prem. We was never in the Premiership last season. We weren't in a title race last season. Liverpool was way ahead. At a canter. Liverpool won that at a canter. Weren't even challenged. Let's listen. Let's just hope we can turn the corner. As I said, the excuses now are put to bed. It looks like we're going to get the players in. We've got the depth. Whether or not it's suitable depth or adequate depth, we've got the depth. We can't go back. We'll never go back to these years. We'll never have the likes of Henry and Bergkamp and Perez at the club again. You won't, and Sanchez's, and you won't see the Mersons. You won't see the likes of them, the Lundbergs and all of that. You ain't going to see the likes of them at Arsenal. Your modern day footballer ain't as good as them. Simple as that. They're not as good. You won't ever see another Bergkamp at Arsenal. The modern day player is just not at that level. The standards in football has dropped across the board. When all these, if you go back in time, we're gassing up Gyökeres now, but the likes of Gyökeres went on when your Bergkamps and your Jermaine Defoe's and all of these players and your Rooney's and all of these forwards, when you saw years ago, Gyökeres would be way down in the pecking order. If all of them were up for sale, Gyökeres would be just a bang average player. He wouldn't even be looked at. The reason why he's gassed up now is because he's the best out there. He's not a world beater. I want him at the club. Anyway, we need to concentrate now. Now we have to win. Yeah. We have to win. And would you agree, Johnny, that if he doesn't get us over the line this season, right, I'll ask you a question, right? With the money he's spent, with the team he's built, for how much time he's been at the football club, and for the players that he's got coming in this season, if he doesn't get us a trophy, do you now agree that he has to move on? Thank you very much for all what you've done, Mikel. Thank you for the memories. But unfortunately, your time is up. That's all I'm saying. Been coached out of the youngsters. Yeah, it has, my friend. It has. Football has changed now. You ain't going to see the likes of your Zidanes and all of that. You might get the odd one come in like Yamin Yamal, but it's too rigid now, isn't it, football? You watch England play under Southgate. That's who I like an Arteta to. He's like the Arsenal's Gareth Southgate, isn't he? The only difference is Southgate does get to a final, but you know where I'm coming from, don't you? Look at Southgate, had probably the best crop of England players to pick from. Couldn't get us over the line. Couldn't win us. DJB, people say football is harder now because the smaller teams can get better players. Football is not harder now, my friends. You're playing on carpet. You fly in a plane to football matches. You go from London to Newcastle in a plane. You don't sit hours and hours on a coach. You've got all the top medical. You've got like physios. You've got massages. You've got mental coaches. You've got this coach, that coach. You're on luxury buses. You're on luxury this. Everything's first class. 5-star hotels and jacuzzis and whirlpools and Christ knows what. It's a luxury now. Years ago, you was strolling out mud pitches and buses to football matches and coming out the ground and jumping in a cold bath and with all the rest of your teammates and going home, and that was it. You didn't have like physio, you didn't have like mental coaches and this coach and that coach, and you know, football's easy now. Look at the pitches you play on, full stop. And you can't tackle now. You tackle someone and they fall over, it's a yellow card or free kick. Years ago, you was getting clattered from behind, you was getting clattered from the side. You just got up and carried on. Look at Roy Keane, the way he used to smash into players. Joey Barton and men like this. Can't do that now. They're too protected. Ridiculous, man. Yeah, I just get frustrated with it. You know, they're on millions and millions of pounds. You go and watch some lower league footballs. You know, it takes you back to some of the days, some of the lower league footballs. You know, did you see that Andy Carroll signed with Dagenham and Redbridge? Big up Andy Carroll, man. Yeah, 6th tier Dagenham and Redbridge, and Andy Carroll's rocking up from next season. Just brilliant. 36. He's like loving it. That's superb. I like seeing these old pros go down to lower leagues, you know. I love it. It's great. Yeah, big up, Nick. The only time Arsenal challenged for the Prem to this last day is in the recent years, 2023-24 season, when they finished 2 points behind City. Yeah, facts, man. Facts. Season before, they run out, bottled it. Last season, they was never in it. Never in it. They played some good football. This is what I mean. I don't know why he changed it so badly. Can you imagine if we'd have capitalised on this team? If we'd have got the right... See, what got me right is when we finished 2 points behind City, that is when we should have made the signings. That is when we should have got the Isaks and not given Eddie Nketiah another contract. That's when we should have got Isak. That's when we should have strengthened in midfield. That's when we should have strengthened. When we've done this, we should have made ads. That's when we should have made all them signings. Not now. Not now the horse has bolted and it's too late. This is when we should have made the signings, when we finished 2 points behind Man City. That's why it's been a struggle. Because if we'd have made the right signings when we finished 2 points behind Man City in this season, and then added a couple this season, you might have seen a different Arsenal. Smash the likes, guys. Make sure you sub to the channel. Southgate had the easiest route to the finals I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Big time, Troy. Big time. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'll compare Arteta with. You know what I mean? It's getting over the line. Top managers have got that little thing, haven't they? They've got that little thing that when it comes to it, they know how to tweak it. You know, PSG manager when he won the Champions League. When I saw PSG earlier on in the Champions League, I thought they looked ordinary. I never thought PSG would win the Champions League. When I watched them play at Arsenal and Arsenal beat them, I thought, no. But boy, when I saw him in the semi-final and I saw him batter Liverpool in that first leg, I'm thinking this manager has changed a lot of things here. This is not the same PSG team. And that's what you need. You need that moment, don't you? Big up everyone in the chat. Football was way harder. None of this mollycoddling existed. No, it didn't. It didn't. Football was proper football then, you know. But it is what it is. We are where we are. We still love the game. Of course we do. Of course we do, my friends. Couple more guys. Then I've got to go because I want to get some time before I do the retro show. Peppermint Freedom and the players were not pampered and protected. Never forget meeting Paul Davis in Golden Fish and Chip Shop just down Ivory Stadium getting fish and chips on the go. Endon, do you know what, right? I used to bump into players all the time. Yeah, crazy. They were just not that, just strolling around, weren't they? Now it's like, oh. And they're not really, listen, as I said, whether you're Arteta in or Arteta out, if he moved away from Arsenal and got another job, do you honestly think he'll give two hoots about Arsenal Football Club? Imagine if Arteta moved away and he got a job, he was manager of, I don't know, Man United, for example. I'm just putting it out there. First thing he does when he comes to the Emirates, he's going to want 3 points. He's not going to have any love for Arsenal, is he? They move on. This is what I don't understand. This is why I don't understand why fans are so attached. Managers move on. Players move on. No one is bigger than a football club. The only thing at a football club that stays solid, unless you're some of these YouTube creators that like to stay in with the Arsenal media that used to support other football clubs and now suddenly they're Arsenal fans. The only thing that stays solid with football teams are the fans. You never change your football club, do you? I still can't get over the fact we got Havertz, nor can I, Lynch, in the same window when Chelsea got Palmer. No, Arteta was at City. He didn't see Palmer's talent. Mine. Do you know what, Lynch? That is a massive, brilliant point, my friend. Massive. Because when Arteta was at City, he should have seen Palmer. And yet the man ends up at Chelsea. But then he didn't see Skelly. He discovered Skelly by default. He never went to the academy and goes, you know that Skelly, I've been watching him, I'm going to throw him in now. They told him. The only reason why Skelly got in was because of injuries. Yeah, fans. It's the only thing that stays solid, 100%. It shows that Arteta has zero talent ID. You have to question it, don't you? With the signings he's made, you have to question it. Even Saliba weren't he signing. You have to question it. That's all I'm saying. You have to question it. Big up, legend. Still celebrating the Club World Cup. Bin Arteta. Keep up the elite chat. Everyone in the like, subscribe to. Yeah, big up, man. Yeah, big up Chelsea. Big up Chelsea. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. No history. You've still got no history. You've only got history in like the last 20 years. You can't, your history don't go back as far as most teams, my friend. Trust me. I remember watching Chelsea as a mid-table yo-yo team that just used to have the odd cup run. That was it. Same as Man City. Man City were a nothing club. Man City was like playing Bournemouth. They were nothing. It's only money that has been pumped into them and the right ownership model and the right appointments of managers over the years that have got them success. And listen, Chelsea, you can't knock them. They get a manager. If it doesn't work, they sack him. Get another one in. Doesn't work, get rid of him. Get another one in. And they keep doing it until they win things. The manager they've got now. There's no way Chelsea would keep a manager at the football club 5 years, 6 years, not winning anything. He'd have been gone. You watch Man City next season, if they don't win a trophy, watch where Pep ends up. And now keep asking the question, why is it different for Arsenal? Why do we have to stick with our manager? What's the difference? What is the difference? Anyway, my guys, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. It's It's been a wonderful chat. Thank you very much. Big up to the community. Big up to every single one of yous. Bless up, my friends. As I say, always stay safe. Look after your loved ones. Until next time, I will catch you all soon. I will be going on the retro show with Shane. I think it's about an hour's time. I think it's 4:30. I think I'll have to check with him. But yeah, have a little look on the retro show. I'm on with. I'm going to have a creep on with Jez as well on that old school, and then later on I'm on with Dan Potts on the roundabout. So come along to that and have a little look. We'll go on Dan Potts's as well. And then I'll look out for my stream, look out for my content. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications, guys, so you never miss a show. And smash the likes. Cheers, Endon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all my mods. Yeah, nice one, my friend. Take care as always. Take care as always. What I'd like to leave you with, guys, as I said, they're all opinions. Everyone's got their opinion. You don't have to agree with it, and that's part of having a debate. That's what makes it special. As long as it's respectful, as long as it's not abusive, that's fine. We've all got our own opinions. But the bottom line is, the core bottom line is that we're all football fans and we all want the best for Arsenal and we all want to see Arsenal win. Whether you're Arteta in, whether you're Arteta out, whether what players you like, whether you agree with the signings, whether you want Madueke, whether you don't want Madueke. At the end of the day, guys, we just want Arsenal to win. That's it. That is it. That's all what we've got in common. So on that note, bless up, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we're out of here.